gon' see the world and just show them what it really means to live life golden. Yeah, we're golden, baby girl, we're golden.
What's going on, everybody? Sophizzticated here, your resident title trickster, bringing you the latest and greatest Fizz content there is to offer. If you enjoy what we do on the channel, remember to show your support by subscribing, smashing that like button, and leave a comment to let me know what you think. Without further ado, let's get right into today's gameplay. What's going on, guys? Sophizzticated here, bringing you some more Fizz content. Today's video is going to be a bit different from the our usual style of videos. The reason being is because, like I told you guys in the last video we put out, I've been having some internet problems. Basically, I'm just having a lot of packet loss. I'll briefly DC from games, whether it be TFT or Rift games, and I'll DC for like 15 and 20 seconds and then jump back in. So I'm not sure exactly what the problem is. I thought it may have been my my Ethernet cable, so I went out and got a new one. Came back, it's still happening. So I ended up calling my ISP. We got a technician coming out tomorrow. It's March 11th today, which is actually my birthday, so that's pretty cool. And so on March 12th, they're going to send a technician out here tomorrow around 9 a.m. And hopefully we'll find out what the problem is and get it fixed. So yeah, until the problem is fully fixed, I don't feel very confident going into ranked games and getting good content for you guys, because I don't want to basically be DCing from games and getting smashed, or have any excuses for why I'm doing bad. So I just want to be able to wait till my internet's up and going, and until then, basically what I want to do is I want to put out normal videos, and because I can play with those and hopefully get a couple good games before the internet gets fixed for you guys, and just still put out the matches. So today's video is just going to be basically me going over Fizz's lore. I'm not sure how much everyone here on the channel enjoys or appreciates the lore of League of Legends. But me personally, I'm a huge fan of the lore of League of Legends. I just really like how immersive and deep the lore of Runeterra is, and I really like Runeterra as a whole. There's so many different intertwining parts, and the history is so deep. They have a really solid base, of the lore. So I really enjoy it. Unfortunately for us, all of us Fizz mains, there's not a terrible bunch of information on Fizz. Probably one of the lesser of the lore having characters, but regardless, he still does have a couple things we're going to go over. So we're going to start right here at his overview in the client, and basically I just go to collection, click on Fizz, you go to his overview, it gives you a brief overview. So we're going to go over that, and then there are a couple other outlets of lore for Fizz. So after this one, we're going to go to the LoL wiki, and it basically has a pretty long description of basically his backstory, how he came to be, what happened to him, and then what happened to drive him to where he is now in Runeterra. Also, there is basically a little video that Riot put out. It's from the standpoint of a pirate talking to these kids, basically like a scary bedtime story. He's telling the kids about Fizz, the title trickster, and yeah, I'm not going to read that one. I could read it to you guys, but this guy does it in such a good accent and like a piratey accent. So we're just going to play that video, let you guys see it. I'm sure some of you guys have probably already seen it. For those of you who haven't, it's a really good video. It's really entertaining. And then after we watch it, I'll just discuss a couple more things about Fizz's lore and my take on it. And then after that, yeah, that'll probably be the video. So let's go ahead and start with this at the overview. Pretty short, really cut and clean, not too much craziness. But let's go ahead and start here. So it starts off with saying, Fizz is an amphibious yordle who dwells among the reefs surrounded bilgewater. He often retrieves and returns the ties cast into the sea by superstitious captains, but even the saltiest of sailors know better than to cross him. For many are the tales of those who have underestimated the slippery character, often mistaken for some manner of capricious ocean spirit. He seems to be able to command the beasts of the deep and delights in confounding his allies and his enemies alike. So like I said, not much there, but I like it. Basically, this is just like the down and dirty of Fizz. Gives you, just a little bit, and gives you a little taste. So if you want to know more, you go to the other outlets. So that's pretty much all there is here. We'll take you to the basically his bigger overview right now, and then we'll do the video after that, guys. All right, so let's get into it. Alright guys, we find ourselves here at the universe.leagueoflegends.com, and this is like the official source of all lore and stuff for characters. You can pretty much look up any lore of any character. You just go to their overview in the client, and then you hit learn more, or you could just Google it. That's what I did. I Googled Fizz lore, League of Legends, and then this popped up. This is the official source. So let's go ahead and go through this together. I'm just going to read the whole story. Mind you, I might not like
hit all the verbal cues and read it exactly how it's intended, but I'll do my best here for you guys. So starting at the top gives us a quick picture of Fizz, tells us Fizz, the title trickster, and let's scroll down here to begin. So it starts off with Fizz, the title trickster, and let's get into it. So, in ages past, the ocean of Runeterra were home to civilizations far older than those of the land. In the depths of what is now the Guardian Sea, a great city once stood. It was here that the Yordle Fizz made his home. He lived alongside the artisans and warriors of that proud, noble race. Even though he was not one of them, they treated him as an equal, and his playful nature and tall tales of adventures in the open sea made him welcome at any gathering. But the world was changing. The oceans were growing warmer, emboldened by fierce predators to rise up from the deepest trenches. Other settlements had fallen silent, but the rulers of the great city could not still agree on how to deal with the threat. Fizz pledged to roam the seas in search of any survivors or anyone that would know what happened. Then, one dark day, the Gigalodons came. These huge dragon sharks stunned their prey with fell shrieking, and the avenues of the great city were soon clouded red. Thousands died in a matter of hours, the immense bulk of their killers crushing towers and temples in a monstrous feeding frenzy. Scenting blood in the water, Fizz raced back, determined to join the fight and save the city. He was too late. There was nothing of the city left to save. When the debris finally settled, not a single living creature remained, nor any stone upon another, and the ravenous shoal had moved on. Alone in the cold depths, Fizz sank into mournful despair. As his Yordle magic began to fade, he let himself be carried by the currents, drifting in a catatonic torpor, dreaming away the millennia. It was only by chance that reawakened him. A handful of copper coins fell from above, scattered to the seabed in the wake of a huge wooden fish that swam upon the surface. This was no Gigalodon, but Fizz was alarmed nonetheless. He knew little of the world overhead, but surely no fish could survive up there. He ventured up and peered into the salty air for the first time. There were people who lived outside the water and sailed in wooden fish of all sizes. Fizz found the thought both frightening and exciting, but the curious gifts they cast into the water made it pretty clear that they wanted to be his friends. In that time, following their movements to and fro across the oceans, he came to the port of city of Bilgewater. To the inhabitants of that lawless place, this strange and slippery creature quickly became something of a legend, the title trickster, a spirit of the ocean itself. It is said that he can summon great beasts to do his bidding, hole a ship's hull with his stone trident, and breathe air or water as it suits him. Many a misbehaving child has been warned on a moonless night. Go quickly to sleep, or the title trickster will feed you to the fishes. Fizz is a good-natured, but mischievous even for a Yordle, and delights in confounding the people of Bilgewater. The most seasoned fishermen know, just as the ocean may rise and fall, the title trickster is as likely to lead them into windless doldrums as to an easy catch that would fill their nets. Even so, Fizz does not take kindly to the greedy or selfish, and more than one haughty sea captain hoping to make a quick pile of silver has found that her mysterious guide has led her crew not to safety, but to shipwreck. Alright guys, so yeah, that's pretty much his whole story right here, his little story. I like that. It gives a pretty good, in-depth description of what Fizz is about. So basically, what I take from this, I'll just go ahead and give my brief overview of it. Fizz is an ancient creature, was swimming around, he ended up finding the civilization, and it's not fully described what Fizz is, right? Because a lot of people debate that the civilization he found was Nami's. I think it's like the Mirai. And Yordles, if you didn't know, Yordles have, their magic is to be able to transform into something else. So, basically, a lot of Yordles will transform into either a human or humanoid to, blend in with wherever they're at, right? Like, Heimerdinger and, I forget, Ziggs, they both live in Zon. They both have a human version that they transform into. Because I guess Yordles are really discriminated against. So, a lot of people are debating that, Fizz, the form he's in right now is actually the form of the race that he joined up with in this civilization, right? So this may not even be Fizz's original Yordle form. But it's pretty cool to see all this. And now, yeah, we'll take you to that video. We'll let you listen. We'll scroll down right here. I think it's right after this. But yeah, we'll take you to that video. And then after that, we'll let him basically go over the whole video. It's really cool. It's in a really nice accent. and then I'll tell you what I think about after that, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, guys, let's go ahead and take it to there. Alright guys, we're at the video right here, and we are basically just on YouTube, and this is Fizz and the Lucky Kraken. This is from the viewpoint of like a Bilgewater pirate, and I'm just going to go ahead and play it. I'll let the whole thing play through. It's about 6 minutes. It's really, really interesting, very cool to hear like someone of Runeterra talk about Fizz and like interacting with him. So yeah, let's just go ahead and play this, and then afterwards, after I play it, I'll just tell you my thoughts on the video, what I think of it, and then yeah, we'll go from there. So let's go ahead and hit play on this. And let's switch that over, and here it is, guys.
Well, hello there, young'uns. Shouldn't you cheeky little sprats already be abed? What's that? You want a supper-time story from old one-legged Lars, eh? All right. Just one afore bed. But I don't want to hear no crying or whimpering this time. This is Bilgewater, after all, and even our bedtime tales have more than a little darkness in them. Right. Now, you've heard of the tidal trickster, the little ocean sprite they call Fizz, ain't you? Yeah. Good. Well, this is a story about the time old Lars met him. What's that? Must have been fun. Well, what sort of stories you been told? No, it weren't fun, thank you very much. He's a malign little terror, that one, and you'll be lucky if you never cross paths with him in all your lives. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Right, so there I was, clinging to a rock out in the jagged straits. My ship was sunk. Don't matter how it happened, here's a tale for another night, maybe. But that's as it was. I clung to that rock for 3 days and nights, with fins a-circling. And just when I was starting to give up all hope, he appeared. All I seen at first were those 2 big round eyes, pale as death, as they swam towards me. Them circling sharks took off right away, and no mistake. They was afeard of him, see, just as you all should be. Closer, and closer, and closer he came. I don't mind admitting, I was scared. But it'd shoot off them hungry fishes, so I dove into the sea and started swimming for Bilgewater as quick as you like. But every time I looks back, he was there, with those big eyes just peering at me. I finally get to shore and thought I'd lost him, but how wrong old Lars was. I got a room in a flea-ridden flophouse down Rattown way, but it didn't take long for me to realise I weren't alone. What first clued me in was the creeping stink of seaweed and fish in my room. That and the little wet footprints on the stair when I woke in the morning. They call him the Trickster, and he certainly lived up to the name. Put seawater in my porridge when I weren't looking. Tied me bootlaces together so I fell as soon as I took a step. And slipped eels under me blankets. Gave me a right proper scare when they started wriggling, I'll tell you. And all the time, I hears him laughing. Still makes me skin crawl just to think of it. For a whole week, Fizz haunted me. Drove me fairly to the brink of madness. What do you want, you little monster? I screams. But on that final night, I woke. I heard his webbed feet flapping on the floor. Slap, slap, slap. Closer he came, and closer. This is it, I thought. He's come to end me once and for all, and I hid myself under the covers. Slap, slap, slap went his cold, wet feet. And then silence. I lay there, cowering for what must have been an hour afore I dared peek. Slowly I reaches out, lights the lamp. And do you know what happened next? Nothing. Aye, Fizz were gone at long last. But he left something for me on the wooden box beside my bed. A coin. A gold kraken, no less. This coin here, in fact. Look with your eyes, not with your hands. That's my lucky kraken, you know. But I tell you, rather than make me happy, for I hadn't a penny to my name back then, the sight of that coin filled me with dread. 'Cause this were the very coin that our captain swore he tossed into the ocean on our way out of port. That was his offering to the bearded lady for safe passage, but the tidal trickster took it. That was the reason our ship had sunk. That playful, hateful little imp, he doomed the whole crew, and done it with a wicked, fishy grin on his face. So, I tell you little sprats now, pray you never encounter him, 'cause while he might seem all fun and games, let me tell you now, he ain't. Now, off to bed with you, and pray you don't see no little wet footprints on the floorboards when you wake.
Alright guys, so that's pretty much it. Really cool video in my opinion. I really like that video a lot. I love the accent that the guy has. It's very thick and like really spot on. Yeah, as you guys heard, basically it just really it meshes really well with Fizz's whole like playstyle in game. Basically like a title trickster, right? Really mischievous. Like as you heard, he took that coin from that dude's ship and actually ended up being the reason his whole ship sunk. They were supposed to be giving those coins to the bearded lady, which I think is Alawi, by the way. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I'm almost 100% sure the bearded lady is Alawi. So it's cool to kind of see like multiple characters interact in lore. I really enjoy that. I think if like Riot made basically like a Game of Thrones type series with all the characters in Runeterra, and you go around Runeterra learning about the origins of all the characters, where they stay at, it would be really solid, and I would 100% definitely watch that. But yeah, like I said, Fizz, I really like his backstory. Meshes really well with his in-game like persona. Basically like a mischievous, tricky guy. I mean, really slippery, hard to catch, and then always just leaves you tilted, right? I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've dodged ultimate abilities or got out with just a couple HP because I'm just so slippery, right? So it really like, spot on with the character. Riot did a really good job. I really love Fizz even before I heard anything about his lore, but his lore just makes me like him even more. And I really enjoy the character. Like I said, he doesn't have as much lore as some other characters. Some characters have like full comics about him. Zed, some of the popular characters, Zed, Garen, Lux, stuff like that. They have really thick and deep backstories. But Fizz has just a little piece, something to get you wanting more, you know what I mean? So hopefully in the future, Riot will implement some more lore for Fizz. I'm not sure if they will, but he meshes with a lot of characters, right? So he interacts with pretty much anyone in Bilgewater. So, they could take that avenue. If they give lore to like, let's say Miss Fortune. Miss Fortune has a very immense backstory. A lot of lore too, and she interacts with Gangplank and stuff. And I could see them putting Fizz, somewhere in there. So hopefully in the future they'll give some additional lore for Fizz. But until then, we have all this, and it's not bad. We have more than other champs, so I'm really not complaining. Yeah, guys, and if you didn't know, I don't know how many of you guys on the channel are into TFT or play it or anything, but Fizz is going to be in the next set, the TFT set. I think it comes out next Wednesday or potentially the Wednesday after that. I know it's on the PBE right now, but basically, I know I only do Fizz content and really only like the Rift, but when that new set drops, I will be putting a couple of videos on, and I'm going to do like Fizz carries, right? I watched the movie or the little video on the home screen, and he's a mech pilot, so it seems like he could, I'm not going to have to force him into team comps. I could probably run him and actually get a couple carry Fizz games. So, yeah, I'm gonna definitely play some TFT when that comes out too, and try to get a couple videos out for that. Like I said, I don't know how many of you guys would be interested in that, but I just think it'd be cool because we're all super Fizz enthusiasts, right? And to see him in the TFT, he will be having his shark as his ability, so he'll throw out sharks, and hopefully we can get some big sharks on people and get a real nice carry Fizz game, or even a couple. Maybe grind a little bit on the TFT scene. Yeah, guys. Like I said, I will be doing normal games if I can when my internet is stable enough. I'll try to get that content out to you. I just wanted to give you guys something, something I could do where my internet really wouldn't affect it, and I could still get you guys out a quality video and help you learn a little bit more about the champ that we all love so much, right? Because I'm not sure how many of you guys actually saw that video or knew really anything about Fizz's backstory. Kind of a tragic backstory. Essentially, he found this group of people / Mirai, creatures. And basically, it sounds like an underwater Atlantis, right? So let's just say that. He finds an underwater Atlantis type city and a civilization of people living there. He goes and lives with them and ends up really enjoying himself, really enjoys the people, stays there for a long time. And then this big threat starts coming because the waters are getting warmer. Predators are starting to move in on the territories. They lost some contact with cities already. So basically, Fizz goes out in search to see if he can't do anything about it or find a way to combat this threat. On his way back, he notices, hey, there's blood in the air or in the water. And when he makes it back to his city, these huge fish, which I'm assuming are probably the sharks that he calls, right? The Gigalodons, because that's his ult. You'll see it. Basically, you get a little Gigalodon or a max range Gigalodon. So I'm thinking those sharks that he lets out in the game are probably what attacked that civilization he was living with, which would make sense because if you throw a max range shark, it's huge, right? So imagine those running through cities, just breaking down temples, eating people, or eating little fish creatures and stuff. And I guess they were pretty fast too, as they were big. So speed and power, that's a combo to hard beat. But by the time Fizz makes it there, basically all of his homeboys are dead, and no one's there to tell him anything of what happened. The fish, the Gigalodons that were there and smoked everybody are already gone too, so he can't even fight to get revenge, right? So it's pretty brutal. Falls into despair and mourning and just basically goes to sleep and just lets the waters take him until he gets to present day Bilgewater where there's a port and he comes into his own. But overall, really good for the little amount of lore he has. I really enjoy it. Yeah, just feels pretty good. Really nice for just being a little taste of lore. It was really solid. But yeah, guys, if you enjoyed the video, drop a like. If you haven't yet, sub to the channel. Really does help, and we'd love to have you here. And if you like this style of video, let me know because I will, venture out and try to do other stuff like this. I just need to see how you guys enjoy it, right? Because I don't want to put out any content that you guys just don't like, right? Because obviously this whole channel is for you guys. I'm here to help, help people learn about Fizz, learn his, his play style in game, give as much, backstory on Fizz. That's what this was, and just anything that has to do with Fizz, TFT Fizz. So I'm gonna get some of that into. I'm an avid lover of Fizz, and hopefully you guys are too. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much the end of the video. Like I said, we're gonna try and get some normal games out to you guys, and as soon as that technician fixes it, we're gonna go on a ranked spree and just try to knock out as many games as we can and get you guys some good content. All right, guys. Hope to see you on the next video.
Just go and see the world and just show them what it really means to live life golden. Yeah, we're golden, baby girl, we're golden.
What's going on, everybody? Sophizzticated here, your resident title trickster, bringing you the latest and greatest Fizz content there is to offer. If you enjoy what we do on the channel, remember to show your support by subscribing, smashing that like button, and leave a comment to let me know what you think. Without further ado, let's get right into today's gameplay.